Live. All right, welcome to the first episode of the Shock Drop podcast. My name is Chris Mafia, and I'm joined by my friends Kyle and Azeem. We're excited to dive in the world of sneakers and the sneaker botting and reselling community. We'll be discussing the latest sneaker releases, tips, and tricks for copying those hard-to-get shoes, and talking with some of the biggest players in the game. Thank you for joining us on our inaugural episode. We can't wait to take this journey with you. Let's get started. So let's go around and just do a quick little intro of ourselves. So, I kind of got into sneakers back in, I think 2015, 2016, when I, just got out of high school and was going into college. Kyle, what about you?
I got into sneakers 2020, right before the pandemic. Kind of
The
just
pandemic.
the pandemic. Just kind of was walking around Chicago and then stumbled across Kanye's Quantum raffle. And then just kind of took off from there. Ended up winning, and then the pandemic happened, and then was stuck at home. And sneakers just kind of took off from there. What about you, Azim?
I started around like 2016, 2017. I got really big into it, just seeing Yeezys going around. And I also saw like the Bread ones releasing around that time, so I was just like, "Damn, I need those," and I got hooked. And
Yeah,
then I just continued botting because I needed to get releases somehow.
yeah, definitely
Yeah.
that Kanye effect got me as well. The Ultra Boost was my first shoe that really brought me into the sneaker community. Never really had any shoes besides that, and that was my first kind of big shoe purchase that brought me in. Even not for very hype shoe, but at the time, Kanye made them really big.
That's crazy because my first hype purchase was a pair of NMDs, and I was like, "These are so sick" at the time. And now I'm just like, "Oh, they're a pair of NMDs."
How time has killed those.
Yeah.
Unfortunate, but great shoes of 2016. Not so much of 2022 and 2023.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what? Now that your NMDs aren't doing so hot, what's your favorite shoe in your collection, Azim?
Uh, My favorite were Off-White Blazers. I got the first OG pair, and now I've kind of been like trying to collect all of the different colorways. I only have the OG and orange ones right now, but I might have to try to find the black colorway and the Serena Williams colorway somehow. What about you, Chris?
Uh, Definitely for me is probably going to be my dog walkers. Even though now that I've been trying to collect all of them, and I'm trying to get my fifth pair will be the special box pair. But I've got a lot of pairs on ice. Definitely my favorite shoe that I plan to never run out of. Kyle, what about you?
I might have to take one of those dog walkers from you.
Don't rob
um,
my dog walkers, please.
Mine's probably has to be the Street Hawkers SB, just because I am Chinese and they were based on Chinese street food. So it's always fun to have dinner with my family and wear them. But also, I found out that the artists who collaborated with Nike on them grew up within the same like city as my dad's side of the family. So as soon as I found that out, I was like, those are a definite must cop just to honor the culture and heritage of my family.
That's awesome. I didn't know that your family was near that
Yeah,
too.
that's pretty sick.
Yeah, I didn't realize it until like the whole I think when Nike did the whole behind the design, I actually like that was like the first one I read through and I was like, whoa, they actually do go pretty in depth on these.
Yeah, having like, and I think the paper inside that shoe also had like all the different food components that
Yeah,
were
it was like
shown on it.
yeah, it's like a menu.
Oh yeah.
That shoe had so many details. Incredible shoe.
Yeah, and then I think like they had like six special boxes from like the different regions of like food.
Are
But
you gonna go and try to collect them all?
as much as I want to, but I think those are like Asia exclusive. So I mean, maybe long term, like your dog walkers.
Eventually, I'll have the whole dog park, right?
Yep, exactly.
All right. And so, Zeem, out of those shoes that you got, do you have any that maybe you kind of have a really big attachment to in the way that you got them? I know we all kind of get our shoes in various ways, but I'm sure there's one out of your collection that you probably that made it so special in the way that you got it. That's why you kept it.
I think definitely the Travis One highs. I remember the sneakers app. I actually won it on there, and it was like everyone was complaining about it. That was it was over an hour, I think. Like just keep retrying on the app, and eventually, like I just got lucky. I still have them on ice, and I'm just like, I want to wear them, but I'm just like, it's too much of a risk.
The
What
Willy
about you,
Wonka
Kyle?
ticket.
So
Yeah.
it's funny that you're the one who's asking me my favorite story of how I copped because you're actually a integral part of this. So back when
Wait,
I
really?
joined, yeah, back when I like joined House of Cards, it was like probably the first month in of like so it was like March 2020. I was just like hanging out in general, and then all of a sudden like you pinged that like the Paris Jordan 1 lows and the Milan mids dropped on Nike app, and for the longest time
Oh
like
yeah.
those were like the ones that I really wanted because those were the color palette was so clean, and I love the story behind them, of like the different architectural textures that they used to um, come up with the design. I was like, oh, I must have those. And so as soon as you pinged those, like I copped like the Milans in my size, but I couldn't get the Parises in my size. So and I got them both like manually too. So I was like, oh, cool. This is like my first time like copying a relatively, I guess, back then type shoe in my opinion, manual.
And those
Yeah,
are
those
hard
are
to
like
get.
some of the best looking like Jordan 1 lows and mids in my opinion.
Yeah, I know, and like
It
now the
aged really
price.
well.
Yeah, and like I finally unds'd my pair of Milan, so I'm like, oh, this is such a nice memory to have. So thanks, Azeem. What about you, Chris?
Anytime, bud.
Mine definitely has to be my infamous Chunky Donkey video. A lot of a lot of people have seen it already, but for everybody listening that doesn't know, back I think it was like a month. Actually, it was a little bit over a month, almost 2 months before the Chunky Donkeys came out. I was kind of entering some raffles for them on Instagram, and I entered one of the IG raffles, and I ended up winning off of just like $200. And at the time, they were going for like near $2,000. And I definitely really wanted them. I was never like an SB person, but the Chunky Donkeys and like everything that Ben and Jerry's as a company stands for was really awesome to me. And being able to get lucky and win my first ever Instagram raffle and win something like that. I just threw them right on feet as soon as I got them. I couldn't wait. They were so cool. Definitely one of my favorite SBs in the collection for sure.
Was that what got you into SBs? Because I know you're pretty big into them now.
I think I mean obviously it was I think Travis was the first one with his normal Travis Scott effect.
Hmm.
But I mean one of my first shoes actually in my collection was the I was gonna say the breakfast dunks. It's the chicken and waffles.
Oh,
And I
yes.
had those way back in college. It was probably like the second or third shoe maybe that I got, and I got them really cheap at the time. It was like I think
Yeah.
um, at retail or maybe just like $20 over. I mean, it was really cheap. And I really liked them, but I got them in my true size, and because they were a high, they fit me a little snug, and I was kind of making me a little uncomfortable. So I ended up getting rid of them. I kind of wish I didn't because they're pretty expensive now, about the same price as a
Yeah.
dog walker to get my size. But that was definitely the first SB that got me into it. I just didn't even know at the time what anything about SB. I just really liked having a chicken and waffle shoe.
But that was the one with the swoosh that was dripping like syrup, right?
Yeah, the swoosh that's dripping like syrup, and then the entire shoe is made like of a hemp, like waffle print.
Oh,
And then I do have the actual. I have the chicken and waffles T-shirt, so it's like a chicken pancake that has like butter on it. I picked that up from my dunk plug, so I've got that at least. So maybe one day I'll get the shoes again, but not right now. I don't have them.
that'd be fun to wear again.
Yeah, for sure. And then for anything else, I guess we've kind of done most of our intros, but I know Azim, you were talking about your Travises or anything. Is there any other special shoe, maybe like a rare grail, something that you've got a little bit of a trophy? I know we've all had pretty good grails at some point in our hands, but anything you still got on your hands that you want to talk about?
I've gotten rid of like a lot of stuff. I mean, all my Money Air 4s are still like, even though they're kind of recent, I feel like they're one of the best like shoes that have come out in the last year or so. And I might still have to keep them for personal.
Mhm.
What about you, Kyle?
Grail wise, I don't know. I just recently been picking up stuff. Thanks a lot, Chris. I think your SB effect, like you were my SB startup.
A
So
bad inspiration to kill your wallet.
I know you've led me down a dark rabbit hole. But I think the most recent one that I've probably picked up is probably the blue lobsters. Just because like it's a cool story just to have like a bunch of different lobsters colors from concepts. Um, I don't know.
Yeah, I
There's
really
just
like the
something
whole
about
story.
yeah.
Sorry, I
It's
was just gonna say I really like the whole story about like how Concepts has them from like so many different colors for like 10 years now.
yeah, and like the blue one was supposed to be like the radioactive one or something. Yeah, I don't know. I just really like that whole line, and hopefully, you know, should a pair of red ones come up for a trade, I might be pulling the trigger on that one. So that might be the next one.
Did you see the White Lobster special, or it's not special edition, the Friends and
FNF.
Family?
I
Yeah,
did. I okay. This might be a hot take. I'm not a huge fan of them.
I'm on board with that.
really.
I
It's one of
think
the weaker ones, I
yeah.
think.
I think
I
it's
think they
because
don't
it's
stand out as much.
exactly that's my thing. It just like from afar, it just looks like a plain white dunk. Sorry,
Yeah,
Yeah, that makes
concepts.
sense.
I'm on board with Kyle for that red lobster. That's definitely my favorite colorway if I had to pick any of them. I've had
Yeah,
the orange is the only one I've had in hand, but
yeah.
I definitely think the red. If I had to get one, the red would be the one that I'd go for.
I mean,
Really?
yellow would be above red, but I do not have that kind of money.
Yellow's
I
the
like the
same price
purple
as a
one.
small car. Yeah,
You like the
purples.
purple one?
Yeah.
It is very nice and bold of a color.
Yeah,
The purple was the most recent before the orange, right? I'm pretty
I
sure
think
that's what it
so.
was.
Yeah, it was like,
I think it was.
Purple and green.
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
somebody was
I
saying
think
that
green
they
was a little bit more recent. Yeah, but
yeah
we might be getting that mixed up.
yeah. What about you, Christopher?
Um, I think mine has to be my twos, even though people hate twos. But um, the absolute grail of my grail collection is those M&M twos. Uh, I don't think I'll ever get the fours. Maybe in a couple years, but they just keep going up to outrageous prices. But I was lucky, just to be able to get the twos, and the twos were one that I actually liked getting into sneakers, which is kind of weird. I didn't really know anything about Jordan models, but as a big Eminem fan and his lyrics and everything, right, seeing it on the shoe, that's kind of what did it for me. But always, I'd trade my twos for the fours in a heartbeat any day, right?
Hey, never say never.
100%.
Yeah. But getting I mean, really having the black canvases has kind of filled that void for me just a little bit.
Yeah.
So I can kind of get away with having my poor man M&Ms for now. But yeah, in the future, I'm still going for them. One day, one
Yeah,
day.
One day we'll get there.
I kind of want the Canyon Purple fours just because they're like the poor man Travis
Travis.
four at FNF.
They're really nice. I mean, like a lot of people kind of like I think like they were really hyped in the beginning, and then like
hmm
once they actually came out, it feels like everything kind of
Yeah,
like
people were a
left
little
for them.
disappointed.
But
Yeah.
the insides of them, I paid and got mine early. Like the inside was really good. Like the orange part is super soft. They're nicer on feet than the black canvases. I'll say that.
Really?
Really?
Yes, they are. They are softer, and I think they're nicer on feet.
Hmm.
So
Do you like
if you
the?
want them,
Oh,
pull the trigger while they're cheap, man.
yeesh, yeah. I'm kind of debating between that or waiting for the craft gray fours that are coming out
I was just
this
about to
year.
say, like, they're
Yeah.
like similar in terms of like the suede on the outside, but I think the craft fours are definitely, I think for me, like a more neutral and more wearable than a purple
Yeah, they're
shoe.
more like you
Yeah,
can
for
put them
sure
into any
wearable.
outfit.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, these the canyons are really nice, but that's definitely true. I definitely have problems wearing it stuff unless I'm wearing like a black pant and like some kind of purple hat or top or something to, like a hoodie, something that kind of makes it blend in.
hmm
Otherwise, yeah, it just really kind of stands out. And there's that little green accent color that's the mint green, super hard to match with.
Yeah.
So
Um,
Speaking of upcoming releases, what's your most anticipated release for this year?
Kyle, what you got?
I mean, as of right now, like we don't really know too much, and most of it is what we have are like mock-ups. So it's like as much as I want to say like the UNC one highs, like I really am hesitant to say it just because I'm curious to see what shade of blue it will come out in hand. But I think currently I am looking at the Craft Fours to be the most anticipated one that I'm probably going to keep just because of what we just said. It's very neutral. And it'll probably be the first pair of fours I keep for myself. I know, Chris, we talked about me keeping the AMA fours,
Yeah, wow. I'm
but
surprised.
I still have him. I
Okay.
haven't fully decided. I know we were talking about like um if my foot enjoys the quilted in liner.
Yes, the
It's
insole.
fine. Oh, insole. It's fine. Like I don't mind it. It is really soft, but it does feel a little bit different. I don't mind it, but I'm kind of waiting to see what the Craft Four
So wait,
feels like.
Kyle, did you put your foot in it but like, not unds it?
Shh, don't tell anyone.
Not in 4K
Yeah. It's like those guys who used to take fit pictures but not like take the tags off just so they
Yeah,
could sell them afterwards.
with the
and then they
lace
don't
bag
they
still on.
purposely don't like crease anything. They just point their toes. Yeah, so I'm gonna kind of wait on the Craft Fours to see like how they are in hand, and then
At least the
kind of
Craft
weigh
4
my
has in-hand pictures, right? So you
yeah,
can kind of already get a good
right.
look at them.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why I'm leaning more towards like ones that we know how they're gonna look.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
that's the one I'm leaning towards. What about you, Hazim? What are you looking forward to?
Uh, there's a bunch of releases. The Black Toe ones. I hope they don't do the whatever the leather thing they did on the Chicago ones.
The
The
cracked?
reimagined.
Yeah,
Yeah. It
Yeah.
will be
it's
something
all
of the
right.
sort, but
Yeah. So that one's pretty good. I really like the elephant print ones too. And
oh,
then
really? The full elephant print ones?
it's kind of crazy. I mean, like, because elephant print is like so cool with like a Nike and a SBs. So I'm just like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
sick they're bringing it into the ones.
I had
Yeah.
a friend of mine
And
who picked them up. He said they're not actually that bad in terms of the quality. So,
Really?
really,
yeah,
Because I
so
remember the what was it? Is it the Atmos
mhm.
elephant one?
yeah,
Like I got one and the print along the was it the top part of the lace was just so crazy. It felt like they just like put layer and layer of the elephant print on it, so it looked like just black. I don't know if that was like a QA kind of thing
Huh.
or just like it just varied.
I think Atmos usually does it up a little bit better. Since this one's just Jordan brand, I'd be curious how it compares.
yeah.
But
I feel like it's gonna be more GR'd and like, worse quality.
Mm,
Oh, and then they have the bread for SBs coming out, which I'm really excited for too.
yeah, it'd be interesting to see what colors, like what different um
It
colorways that they're gonna come out with. Because I think one of them is a pine green that I
yeah,
saw.
one's a pine green and one is a black cat.
Okay, so see, it'll be
What about you,
interesting to
Chris?
see what other ones they come out with.
I I was a bit of a hater on them at first, but I'm gonna be honest. I think it's the Spider-Man ones.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
Wait,
I
is this
love
because
my
of the
origin stories. The
post trailer?
I think the movie's gonna be good, so that definitely helps me with the movie for sure. I really liked the first movie, which made me really like the shoe.
Uh-huh.
But I have the origin story one, and I love that shoe a lot. That was my only Chicago that I really had up
Okay.
until I got the Lost and Founds. But I'm kind of with the messy design only because the movie's all about the multiverse and all that. So we'll see
Mhm.
how it is in hand. If it doesn't look horrible in hand, I'll probably keep it. I think it'll look all right. The
Mhm.
only thing I'm a little concerned about is I think the back part, the black, I think that's patent. So
Oh,
like
is it?
Oh no.
yeah, that's why I don't know if it's patent or if it's like a shiny plastic. So depending on how that is probably going to be if I keep it or not. Because like
Yeah.
if I just get my size and like it's already pre-creased or something, like it's going right back out the door. Like I just won't like it at that point. I'll try to get another pair or something, but yeah, I'm hoping they look good. I'm excited to see them in hand myself. I don't think that's one that you can look at pictures and get a good feel
Yeah.
for that one for sure.
Yeah. Do you watch the movie first or do you watch the movie after you get them?
I I think it depends when they come out. I think they
Oh,
come
that's
out
true.
before the movie. I think they come out in March. I posted the date actually somewhere for them. I think they come out in March, and I think the movie's in June.
Ah,
So
Chris, this is what you have
I'll
to do for the premiere.
yeah no
You have
I was
to
gonna
pull
say bro
up
I'll
in the
probably wear them
sneakers.
there.
Nah, and you have to come in a full Spider-Man suit too.
full Miles Morales.
Exactly with the hoodie and
Exactly.
everything.
Oh, you know one that we didn't talk about? What do you guys think about the reimagined White Cement threes?
I like them.
Oh.
And it's funny because I was gonna mention about Azim's shoe that he was talking about, the elephant print.
Mhm.
I think that they did the elephant print right on this shoe, and that's why I like it. I think some of the other Jordan shoes got it like a little too much. I
Mhm.
like how like kind of half faint almost, a little bit pulled back. I
Yeah.
like that on these.
And I kinda like that they so far in the in-hand photos, like, they don't show like, there's no, uh, cracked leather on it, and it's like, finally, a you don't have to have every reimagined with cracked leather.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Speaking
exactly.
of that, Azim, you were looking forward to the black toe. If they do the black toe the exact same way they did the lost and found, would you pick it up?
Yeah, I'll still pick it up because it's a model that I want, but it's like
Mhm.
I'm
It's
still gonna be
disappointing.
trying to get like a little bit. It's like I still want like a regular pair, right? So I either
Yeah,
cop for the 2015 version or wait to see what next one they come out with.
that's true.
And I have a regular Royals from like 2017, so if they do that one reimagined too, I'll probably just cop to sell instead of just keep those.
Yeah. That's what it seemed like for the people, uh, for the lost and founds. If they had 2015, some of our friends chose not to keep a lost and found
Because
because
the
they
2015 was
Yeah.
better.
yeah.
Yeah, which is interesting to kind of see. I found though that like most of the people that either bought lost and founds from me or that I know that had lost and founds or won them, I see that they wear them more than if they had their 2015 or if they had another pair, just
Mhm.
because
Yeah,
they feel like
100%.
it already looks like it's
Yeah.
used in right, so they're more comfortable to beat that one up rather than wear the now 2015 one, which is like, a grand and a half or something. I think it's like near 2 grand in some sizes. It's crazy.
Oh, that is wild.
Yeah. I remember like off-white Chicago ones were going for around that price, like for a little bit, and then they shot up.
Rest in peace, Virgil.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
man.
R.I.P.
But
Virgil.
definitely, yeah, those definitely shot up. All the Chicago's really, the whole Last Dance effect, right? I mean, it
Oh
made
yeah.
even the
Yeah.
origin stories. I think for a while were kind of sitting around the 300s, 400s, and
Yep.
then like they just took off right after that and like almost tripled in price from there.
Yeah. It's kind of like what you were saying. You're like, for some people, like that's the only Chicago they had.
Yeah,
So
really was because they didn't really release anything. I think that was the closest thing right after the 2015 release.
Yeah. They did bread toast after that in like
Oh
I forgot what
yes,
year.
yeah, maybe it was that 2017.
Yeah, but they were basically doing like a it's not reimagines. They called it something else, like on Twitter. Like but it was a whole like pack with I want to some other shoes like Reimagine Royal too.
mm,
Oh yeah, I remember those. Yeah. They
before
both
my
came out
time.
around the same. I think they both came out around the same year.
Yeah.
Maybe it was like just after, but yeah, interesting time. That was I think a little like a year before we were supposed to get the the yellow toe ones, which ended up coming out like last year.
Yeah. Those were
But
rumored for a long time. Since like the mids that were like the same color blocking.
yeah, all the attention, all the hype, and then still couldn't perform. But speaking of last year, did you guys have? I know we talked a little bit about the Alma in year fours, but did you guys have a sneaker of the year for last year for 2022?
Azim, are you still rocking with the fours?
I'm trying to think back. There were so many releases. Like
Yeah.
There's
It's
more
kind
than
of tough.
the general 4 that everybody likes to pretend that was it. Kyle and
Yeah,
I joke about that, but the I'm a
There's only
Meneer
4.
4, the lobsters,
Mhm.
the lost and founds, and then what's the other one? Like the Union Dunk or something? Or the
yeah.
Travis
Union
Scott, the
Mall has
Yes,
Phantom.
some good
the
stuff.
Phantom. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it
Yeah.
was. Oh, man. I don't even
I
know.
really like Union Dunks and Concepts, lobsters. Those are
Mhm.
probably my favorite, actually.
Yeah.
What about you, Kyle?
I think probably if it had to do, because like, for me, like, I love how a shoe can or, like, how a shoe and the designers can tell a story. As much as, like, I don't want the Chicago's to be my shoe of the year, I did enjoy their whole presentation of like telling a story of like these are like what it would have been like if we found an 85 Chicago in the storeroom of a mom and pop shop with like the whole wrapping paper um and
The
Yeah, I
old
the
remember seeing
slug.
receipt.
Yeah, the receipt, the just like everything about it was just like wow, this is a
I
story like in a shoe in
I
a box, you know.
Yeah, it made it a lot better than if they just re-released Chicago's and were like, "Yeah, it's a Chicago, the same shoe that's we've been releasing for all these years."
Yeah,
But
just with
older.
some yeah, exactly. With just with some distressed leather, but no, they really just did it with the the wrapping paper and the whole presentation of it all for me. Even though Chris and I do joke that it's like everyone always says it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It was like one of the overall like all together. It was just very well executed.
It's the only thing that made the loss. I really like the lost and founds, and like it's hard for me to like. I didn't want to sell my pair. Like I'm still on the fence if I'll wear it versus like the origin stories. I like those better still,
Hmm.
but it was the same thing. We just talked about it earlier. Of the whole story of the lost and founds is how they killed off all the mom and pop shops to make a release of a pretend
About the
mom and
mom and
pop
pop.
shop. Like that was the whole story is just them like murdering off the whole other
Yep.
competitions so then they can do it themselves. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's almost got like a bit of a trophy room taste in my mouth.
Hmm.
And like just because of that, I put it as a number two. Alma Manier just still
Sure.
takes the number one for me.
Sure.
They just kill it every time for me.
Yeah.
Um,
I think also
yeah,
like with the
Yeah.
Amafors, like just the quality of it, it just feels so nice.
it
Like
almost brings back the. I don't think this might have been before your time, Kyle. Did you ever know about the Lux Jordans that they tried to do? There was like
no, that was probably before me.
this was I think right around like maybe 20 I think it was like 2017 2018 times. There used to be these lines of like $300 and $400 retail Jordans that were all made in like a more premium material.
Oh,
Um, and I don't really think they were like a big hit.
just because of the
No, I
price.
remember they weren't, like, that great.
Yeah, like
Really?
they tried to do like a designer line. I felt like, and like
Okay.
yeah, there's just too high of a price. It just didn't kick
Yeah.
off for them. But now Alma Manier almost brings that vibe. It's still an elevated retail, right? But
Yeah.
it's not as bad as that used to be.
Right. But it still has like
Oh,
a story behind it rather than, I
Yeah,
think
than
it,
just them.
yeah, right.
I have
I
a
think
question for you guys.
yep,
Uh,
go for it.
what model do you think Alma Monier should do now that they've done, like, Jordan 1, 2, 3, and 4?
And 12.
12, yeah.
Yeah,
Ooh, what's next?
yeah,
Union got the KOs,
yeah.
so I don't think they'll do that.
You think the
Um,
6?
that would be really nice, actually. Maybe I would like to see an Alma Manier 8. I think that's what I said on Instagram when they asked.
Oh,
Uh,
interesting.
because
Really?
I think the 8's a little bit of an underrated model, and I think that
Yeah.
there's a few really good 8's out there. I mean, really, my favorite 8 of all time is the unreleased one, but it's the Calipari pack. It's Drake's OVO 8, and it's the UK one.
Mm,
I really like those, and I think that like when they do a simple one, it really works on the 8. They just you can't really mess it up and do all the super colors and everything. Just make like a nice, clean, basic one, which
mhm,
Alma Manier does. I think they'll knock it out of the park.
yeah.
What about you guys?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think I don't know. Just because like they've done one, 2, 3, 4, and 12. I don't know. 6 would be a fun one to see, just to see how they
Yeah,
would take all the different, um, I don't know,
I
the
would like to
aspects
see a
of.
6.
Yeah.
I would like to see the 6 and the 7. I feel like those 2 would be really good. I kind of want them to bring back more, like well, better colorways for the 6s and 7s because I think they're really cool models, even though
Yeah.
I don't really wear them on feet.
Do you think they're gonna go with, like, a darker version or, like, a light? Kinda like what they did with the 12s. Like, which one would you prefer?
I kind of like the, like, pretty, like, colorful, like, 6s and 7s.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like because around the I remember seeing those colorways, like, of 6s and 7s. Like, Carmines are pretty bright and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
So I feel like those shoes have to be bright.
And
That's
Carmine gave everybody a little bit of PTSD with those pink soles and
Yeah.
everything, man.
Oh,
It
yeah.
really I mean, you almost forgot about it, how bad it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
It ruined that whole release just because people were so afraid that they were gonna pay, like, that full price and get, like, basically
A
an
pink
outlet
soul.
pair.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, it's just kinda like the moldy, Lost and Founds, right?
That
Yeah.
was also botched horribly, and, like,
Yeah.
we won't even go to, like, the people fake claiming the mold, but, like, I mean, that was a huge issue on Nike's part, like,
Yeah.
I and that to think that, like, their biggest release of the year and that happened, like, that's so sad.
Yeah. That was just not a fun way for people to finally get the pair that they've been looking forward to all year, just to have.
You know what was crazy? People would find mold on their, Travis 1 lows, the Phantom black ones, too.
Oh, yeah, I saw a few of those. Not as many as the Lost and Founds, but yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was
I
probably, like, wherever they were storing it.
Yeah, I think I heard it was just, like, out of one shipping,
Oh,
location.
center? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was. I heard Mississippi.
Somebody probably got something wet and it probably ruined, like, the whole
Yeah.
area. Man, that
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah, well, at least they did, you know, try to, accommodate the people with refunds. The
Imagine
true.
getting, like, your only sneakers win of the entire year, and you get a moldy pair of ones.
No,
Yeah.
don't put
You might get
evil
a
on.
second chance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
There
maybe.
there's the rumor of
maybe.
restocking
Yeah, it's
that's been
loaded,
going
it's ready
around.
to go.
Loaded. But
Just waiting to
when?
see when it
When? When?
drops.
When?
Yeah.
When? When?
People have been saying this, like, the day after they release. They were like, "It's gonna
People
restock."
people were saying it the
Literally the
day
day
of.
after, it was, "Alright,
Yeah.
second chance, restock is coming, there is so much stock." I mean, sure, there's a restock coming, but if you thought how hard it was with how much stock was there on release day? It was like 250,000 pairs or
They
something?
said.
Yeah.
Well, that's what the stock number rumored was. Like, yeah, 300 was for men's. I think, like,
Wasn't rumor yeah, 500,000 worldwide.
yeah,
Yeah. So, I
but
mean, if you have just that off sneakers and stuff, I mean, and
yeah.
you imagine
Where's
that they
Nike
may have some
hiding these
backup
pairs?
pairs. The employee stores always got stuff. If they had Alma
Mhm.
Meniers, coming out later, they've definitely got extras somewhere, but, I mean, there's
Yep.
no chance that they've got enough to fit that demand.
No way.
Yeah.
I think that was
I
also
mean,
another good thing about the Lost and Found release, like, why, like, a lot of people were able to get them. Like, it
They did
was.
it right.
They did it right. They didn't make it, like, super limited, which I think added more to, like, the story of it all. Like, people were able to get them.
yeah, there were definitely, like, people upset because they couldn't get a pair, but I feel like if
That's
you kinda
ridiculous.
wanted to, like, if you did your, like, due diligence, like, try to enter this, store raffles, do all
Right.
that stuff, you probably got a pair.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely at least I mean, I saw more sneakers wins from, like, a lot of people than, like, probably on any
Yeah.
other release for the whole year. I mean, there was just enough stock that, if you were active and going for it, you probably got it. If not, obviously that's that's the sneakers app. You can't win them all.
I wish. Yeah.
Well, I think that kinda wraps up our episode 1. Any
Woo.
final thoughts, gentlemen?
No. I'm excited to see what other releases other brands also have coming out, for 2023.
Yeah,
It
you
should.
noted New Balance, we don't really get a look at their stuff, so
Nope.
definitely one to look out for.
Yep. But yeah, I'm excited to see things start releasing again. It's been a quiet past couple of weeks, but we're ready for the rest of the year.
100%. I hope more than just Dunks release this year.
No, pandas every week, duh.
At least once a week. All right. Thanks everyone for listening. Hopefully you can tune in on our next episode. And with that, we're out.
Bye.
Bye.